What if I told you that good news doesn't just appear out of nowhere? It's actually preceded by clear signs, signals from the universe, guiding you towards the positive change that's about to unfold. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 unmistakable signs that something amazing is coming into your life. These aren't abstract spiritual ideas or wishful thinking. No, these are real, tangible signs that you can recognize in your day-to-day life. Have you ever experienced moments that felt like more than just coincidences? A sudden shift, a random encounter, a burst of energy? Those little clues are preparing you for the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what these signs mean and how to make the most of them. If you feel like you're ready for something better, hit subscribe. You'll want to keep up with all the steps to welcome the good news heading your way. Let's dive in. The first sign that good news is coming often appears in the form of seemingly random encounters. Have you ever experienced the odd coincidence of running into someone you've been thinking about, or meeting a person who just happens to have the expertise you've been searching for? These moments are not mere accidents. They are signs that the universe is aligning you with the resources you need. For example, I remember a friend of mine named David. He had been struggling for months to find a new apartment, but nothing was working out. One day, while walking through his neighborhood, he helped an elderly woman carry her groceries. To his surprise, she told him that her grandson owned several apartment buildings. Within a week, David had moved into his dream apartment at a much lower rate than he expected. This wasn't just a lucky coincidence. It was the first sign that good news was on its way. The universe often drops little clues to guide you toward the right path. These seemingly random moments of connection, when noticed and appreciated, can lead to big opportunities. But how can you tell if a connection is truly meaningful and not just a coincidence? The trick is to pay attention to the timing and relevance. If you meet someone or have an encounter that is perfectly aligned with something you've been thinking about or focusing on, it's a strong indicator that something good is about to unfold. Take David's story, for instance. He could have easily brushed off the chance meeting with the elderly woman, thinking it was just another part of his day. Instead, he paid attention to the conversation and realized that it was an opportunity. By recognizing the meaningful coincidence, David opened the door to the positive change he had been searching for. To make this process even more effective, you can keep a coincidence journal. Each time something unexpected happens, whether it's meeting someone who has the expertise you need or bumping into a friend you've been thinking about, write it down. Over time, you'll start to see patterns, and you'll notice how these small moments often lead to bigger changes. The more you notice these coincidences, the more they will start appearing in your life. It's as if the universe begins to reward you for paying attention. Before you know it, you'll be surrounded by these meaningful connections, each one paving the way for something great to come. So the next time you have an unexpected encounter or meet someone who seems to know exactly what you've been needing, don't brush it off. Pay attention. It could very well be the universe's way of guiding you toward the good news that's about to arrive. The second sign that good news is on its way is a sudden surge of energy and creativity. Have you ever had those moments when everything feels like it's clicking into place? When you wake up feeling more inspired and ideas just seem to flow effortlessly, almost as if the creative floodgates have opened? If you've experienced this, it's likely because your mind and body are subconsciously preparing for the positive change that's about to enter your life. Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, perhaps feeling a bit stuck or drained, when out of nowhere, a wave of energy rushes over you. Your mind starts buzzing with ideas, new ways to approach a problem, fresh business concepts, or even creative ideas for a passion project you'd forgotten about. It's as if everything you've been struggling with suddenly makes sense, and the pieces of your puzzle fall into place. What's happening behind the scenes is fascinating. When good news is about to enter your life, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. These feel-good hormones not only make you feel better, but also supercharge your brain's ability to think creatively and solve problems. That's why old challenges that once seemed impossible to tackle suddenly appear much more manageable. The answers that once eluded you now seem simple, even obvious. Let me give you an example. I know a woman named Sarah who had been struggling with a stagnant career for years. She was feeling uninspired and unmotivated, as if she were stuck in a never-ending loop. But one day, without warning, she started waking up full of ideas. She felt like she could tackle anything, from career changes to creative projects. This burst of energy and creativity led her to take action, and within just a few weeks, she received a job offer that seemed almost too perfect to be true. This creative surge wasn't just a coincidence. It was the universe's way of preparing her for the good news that was coming. As she tapped into her newfound creativity, she was able to make the right decisions and take the right actions, leading her to the job offer she had been longing for. You may have experienced something similar, a time when, out of nowhere, you had a burst of inspiration or the energy to tackle a project you had been putting off. Maybe you suddenly felt like reorganizing your entire space, or you began working on a new business idea you'd been too hesitant to pursue before. These surges are signals that the universe is getting you ready for something bigger. So how can you make the most of these creative bursts? The key is to embrace them fully. When you feel that surge of energy, capture it. Start a solution journal or an idea notebook. Jot down whatever creative thoughts or solutions come to you. Even if they seem like random thoughts at the time, trust that they are part of a bigger picture. They may lead you to the very breakthroughs that prepare you for the good news headed your way. This surge of creativity is like a natural preparation for the positive change that's about to unfold. Just as a storm builds up before it rains, this energy is the buildup before your life transforms in wonderful ways. It's your body's way of telling you, get ready, something amazing is coming. So the next time you experience a sudden rush of ideas, energy, or creativity, don't ignore it. Harness it. Take action on those ideas and trust that they are guiding you toward the good news you've been waiting for. The universe is preparing you, and your creative mind is your biggest ally in recognizing and embracing the changes ahead. The third sign that good news is on the horizon is the clearing of obstacles in your life. Think of it like preparing a clean, open space to receive something new and wonderful. When positive changes are coming, it's as if the universe starts clearing the path ahead, removing the things that have been blocking your progress. It's not just that your challenges suddenly vanish. They often resolve themselves in surprising and unexpected ways. Picture this. You've been struggling for months with a problem that seems impossible to solve. Maybe it's a bureaucratic issue you've been fighting with, perhaps a long-awaited document or approval that's just been stuck in limbo. Every time you think you're close, a new hurdle pops up. But then, out of nowhere, the situation shifts. The document is approved or the issue gets resolved, often in a way you couldn't have predicted. It's like the universe is giving you a little nudge, telling you it's time for you to move forward. I've seen this happen countless times. Take Mark, for instance. He'd been trying to start a new business, but he kept hitting walls. There were permits that wouldn't come through, and his financing was delayed again and again. He was getting close to giving up, convinced that it just wasn't meant to be. But then, just as he was ready to quit, the final permit he needed was approved within a matter of hours. The delay, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, as the timing allowed him to get a better deal on his financing. In the end, that impossible situation became the perfect setup for his business to launch smoothly. This clearing of obstacles can also happen on a more emotional level. For example, when you're on the verge of receiving good news, old emotional wounds that have been lingering for years may suddenly start to heal. You might feel yourself letting go of grudges, past disappointments, or long-held fears. It's as if the universe is helping you release all that emotional baggage so that you can fully embrace the new opportunities ahead. Take Emily's story. She had been struggling with the emotional aftermath of a difficult breakup that had left her feeling stuck. But over time, as good things began to fall into place in her life, she noticed that the old emotional wounds started to heal. She stopped replaying the painful memories in her mind and felt lighter, freer. Her healing journey wasn't immediate, but it was clear that the positive changes coming into her life helped her let go of the past. The key takeaway here is that when you start noticing obstacles clearing from your path, it's a sign that something big is about to happen. These resolutions, whether they're physical, emotional, or logistical, are not just coincidences. They are indicators that the universe is setting things up for you to receive what's coming next. A practical tip here: take some time to reflect on unresolved issues or disappointments you may still be carrying. Sometimes we hold on to past hurts or regrets because we haven't fully processed them, but by consciously releasing these emotional blocks, you create room for new, positive energy to flow into your life. This act of letting go doesn't just make you feel lighter, it opens up space for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences to enter. This could be as simple as forgiving someone, whether they're in your life or not. It might mean letting go of past failures or fears of the future. Whatever it is, make space for something new by clearing out the old. As you release these obstacles, whether they are external or internal, remember that you're preparing yourself for the positive changes that are about to arrive. You're creating the perfect conditions for the good news to land in your life, and trust that when the universe clears the way for you, it's a sign that something amazing is on its way. The fourth sign that good news is on its way often shows up in the form of dreams and intuitive flashes. Your subconscious mind is like a high-powered computer, processing billions of bits of information every second. It picks up on things your conscious mind might miss. And when something positive is about to happen, your subconscious starts to send you signals, long before you even realize what's coming. These signals come in many forms. Perhaps you get a sudden urge to visit a place you've never been, or find yourself thinking about someone you haven't seen in years. Sometimes you might experience intuitive nudges, like a strong gut feeling that you need to make a certain decision or go down a specific path, even if you can't explain why. It's almost like your inner self is guiding you towards something good, even though your rational mind hasn't caught up yet. One example that stands out is Sarah's experience. Sarah had been feeling stuck in her career for a while, but then one night she had a dream. In the dream, she was flying freely through the sky, feeling completely unburdened and light. She woke up with a sense of peace, as if something had shifted inside her. The next day, Sarah ran into an old colleague who mentioned an opening at a company she had always admired. Sarah's dream of flying was a symbolic message from her subconscious, telling her that it was time to break free from her limitations and embrace new opportunities. Within a few weeks, she had applied for the job, and she landed it, a perfect fit for her skills and passions. These types of dreams are often rich with symbolic meaning. Dreams about flying, for example, can represent freedom, personal growth, or the feeling of being unbound by your circumstances. Similarly, dreams where you find money can symbolize an unexpected windfall or an abundance of opportunities just waiting to be discovered. But it's not just about the dreams themselves. It's also about the gut feelings you get during the day. Have you ever just known that something was going to happen, even though you had no logical reason for thinking so? Maybe you felt a sudden urge to call a friend, only to learn that they needed your support. Or perhaps you had a strong feeling that a certain path would lead you to success, and when you followed it, it did. These intuitive nudges are like little whispers from your inner self, guiding you toward the good news that's on the way. One way to tune into these signals is to start paying closer attention to your dreams. Keeping a dream journal can be a powerful tool for decoding the messages your subconscious is sending you. Every morning, take a few minutes to jot down the details of your dreams, no matter how strange or unclear they might seem. Over time, you may start to notice patterns or recurring symbols that seem to point towards certain events or changes in your life. For example, let's say that for a few weeks you keep dreaming about water. It's calm, serene water in your dreams, and it's always present. This might symbolize emotional clarity or a sense of peace about an issue in your life that you've been struggling with. Once you start to recognize these symbols, you can use them as clues to what's coming up next. Maybe you've been grappling with a tough decision, and the dreams are telling you that the answer is within you, waiting to be discovered. In addition to dreams, you might also notice a surge in your intuition during the day. If you find yourself feeling especially drawn to a person, a place, or an idea, pay attention to it. Intuition is like your inner compass, and when it's guiding you, it's often pointing you towards something important. Trust those little nudges. Whether it's a fleeting thought that won't go away or a feeling that something is meant to be, your intuition is a valuable tool for recognizing the signs that good things are coming. So the next time you have a dream that feels significant or experience a gut feeling that seems to guide your actions, trust that these are not random. They are messages from your subconscious mind, alerting you to the positive changes and opportunities that lie ahead. By paying attention to these signs and nurturing your connection with them, you'll be better prepared to recognize and embrace the good news that's coming your way. The fifth and final sign that good news is on the way often comes in the form of small wins that gradually build up to something much larger. At first, these little victories may seem insignificant, a compliment from a stranger, finding a perfect parking spot, or getting through your to-do list faster than usual. On their own, they might not seem like much, but when you start to notice a pattern of these small wins, they can set off a chain reaction that leads to much bigger breakthroughs. Take the example of John, a young entrepreneur who had been struggling to get his business off the ground. One day he received a small but unexpected compliment from a customer about his product. That brief interaction boosted his confidence, and he spent the rest of the day brainstorming new ideas to improve his service. The next day, he got another small win, a positive review on his website. These little moments of recognition seemed trivial at first, but they sparked a chain of events. John felt more motivated, more creative, and more energized. Over the next few weeks, he implemented new ideas and made small tweaks to his business. Within a few months, he landed a major contract that catapulted his business into the next level. What started as tiny, seemingly insignificant wins paved the way for a breakthrough he had been waiting for. This principle is supported by science. Every small win, no matter how trivial it might seem, releases dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is the feel-good neurotransmitter, and it not only makes you feel good, but also increases your awareness of opportunities and motivates you to take more action. In other words, every time you experience a small win, your brain is primed to notice the next one. It's like the snowball effect. One small victory leads to another, and before you know it, you're moving toward a much bigger achievement. In fact, some studies suggest that people who regularly experience small wins are more likely to keep pushing forward, even in the face of challenges. The reason? These small wins build a sense of momentum. They create a psychological snowball effect that propels you forward. The more you win, the more confident you become, and the more likely you are to take action that leads to even bigger successes. Take Anna, for instance. Anna had always struggled with self-doubt when it came to her career. She had been working on a personal project for months, but every step forward felt like a huge effort. One morning, she made a simple decision to go to a networking event, even though she felt nervous. At the event, she had a brief but meaningful conversation with someone who turned out to be a potential collaborator. That small interaction planted a seed of possibility, and over the next few weeks, Anna continued to take small steps, reaching out to new people, learning new skills and making minor adjustments to her project. Slowly but surely, the pieces started falling into place, and Anna ended up launching her project to widespread success. This kind of momentum isn't limited to professional achievements. Even in your personal life, small wins can lead to transformative changes. Maybe you've been struggling with a health goal, and one day you managed to make it to the gym for the first time in weeks. That small win can spark a chain reaction. You feel better afterward, which boosts your motivation, and soon you're back into a regular routine. Or maybe you've been trying to build a new habit, like reading every day. The first time you pick up a book, you might feel a sense of accomplishment, which leads to the next day's victory, and before you know it, reading becomes a daily habit. So, how can you make sure you're tapping into the power of small wins? One way is to start keeping a wins tracker. This could be a simple notebook or a digital document where you record every positive event, no matter how small. Each time something good happens, whether it's finishing a task, getting praise, or even just having a productive morning, write it down. By tracking these wins, you shift your focus to the positive, and over time you'll start to see just how much you're accomplishing. The key here is to practice gratitude for these small wins. By appreciating these little moments, you activate a positive feedback loop. When you acknowledge the small victories, it creates a sense of fulfillment and momentum that makes it easier to keep going and stay motivated. The more you celebrate these wins, the more your brain starts to anticipate the next one, building a cycle of success that keeps growing. In the long run, the accumulation of small wins not only boosts your confidence and motivation, but also accelerates the arrival of bigger blessings. Whether it's in your career, personal life, or health, these small steps can lead to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Remember, the road to success doesn't always come in giant leaps. It's often the small victories, strung together over time, that create the foundation for something much greater. Keep track of them, celebrate them, and let them propel you forward into the bigger, life-changing breakthroughs ahead. The 5 signs, meaningful coincidences, bursts of energy and creativity, the clearing of obstacles, intuitive nudges, and small wins are all interconnected. Recognizing these signs is the first step to inviting good news into your life. The key difference between those who seem to attract good things and those who don't is awareness. I encourage you to make a daily practice of noticing these signs and reflecting on how they might be guiding you toward positive change. When you actively look for them, you'll find them more often, which creates a powerful loop of attracting good news into your life. What you focus on expands, so focus on the positive signs that are already unfolding in your life. Trust in them and use them as guideposts toward the amazing things coming your way. You are not just waiting for good news, you are actively participating in drawing it closer.